Hi there, welcome to No Nonsense Whiskey. My name's Vin PF, and on today's episode we've got another sample Saturday, and here we're checking out a couple of Wireworks whiskies. Before we get into how I got them and some information about that, I'm going to pour these. The idea behind these sample Saturday videos is that, I did two types actually. At one point I was literally doing them like a normal review. I was tasting them ahead of time, I was writing my tasting notes, but I found that you guys seem to enjoy the off-the-cuff whiskey tastings a little bit more, like no research, tend to not know anything about these whiskies. I might have looked at their website or something like that, but as you can see, I've literally just opened that now. So I'm going to pour this, and that will help that breathe just a minute or two before I get to the tasting, while I tell you about what we've got. So that's the first one done, and we'll do the next one. Obviously, you've seen the title, so you know what they are, but I'll go through what I think I know about them, and we've got the websites open here as well, so we'll have a little look at those as well and see what's what. Now, as you would have seen from the title, that's a bit of a pain to get on. This, we have here a couple of Wireworks whiskies. Now we have the first one. I've done these the wrong way around. Okay, let's scooch them around that way so I don't forget. And these were that way around. Yep. I don't know why. There's a reason for that. ABV, that's right. So the first one is the Wireworks Caduro. I want to say Caduro. And this one here is the Alter Ego, which I think is meant to be a little bit out there and a bit different, but I don't know is the truth. I know there's some different things. Now, how I came about these. Now, you might have seen last year on the channel, I did a little sample Saturday video of some super old whiskey samples bought from auction. Now, you can go back and check that out. I'll put the link in the description below so you can go check that video out. It's really good. I really enjoyed tasting those whiskies that I wouldn't have got a chance to try otherwise. But these came through in the same package. Mark Littler, amazing channel, you should go and check him out again. All these links will be in the description. He got in touch with me and said he wants to do a little collaboration where he gives me a budget, lets me pick some samples off of website for auction, and then I'll get those and send them off to him when I'm done with them. So he'll probably get the other half of these. But just to get my kind of general idea of these whiskies, which I thought was really lovely of him, really nice to do, and it kind of went in a different way. So I picked the other four, because they were really old whiskies. Now these two obviously come as a pair. Wireworks, the White Peak Distillery in Derbyshire, actually quite local to me. I still haven't been down to them. I really must, because they're making some good stuff. I've enjoyed everything I've tried of theirs so far. Haven't tried either of these yet, and they were pretty cheap, so I tacked them on to the end of that request, let's say, and here they are. They came through. So I forget how much exactly these cost. I think they might have been 20 quid for the pair or something like that. But the whole point of this exercise was to prove that you can get good quality whiskey in sample size for not much more than you would probably pay for them in a bar. So in terms of the old whiskies that I tried last time, you could argue that £20 to £30 for a sample was pretty, it was not good money. However, if you were in a bar somewhere and you spotted a 1970s Bunnahabhain on the shelf that had a price tag on it that said £25 a dram, I can bet you probably 90% of the people watching this video would probably buy that. So, and that was the point of it, is that we shouldn't ignore samples on auction sites. And in fact, it made me start thinking about only samples on auction sites. I'm not a big fan of auction sites generally, but you can get some good quality stuff on there for next to nothing, really, in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, that's the reason why I have these. We're going to delve into these in just a minute. And like I said, this is completely unedited, unchill filtered, let's say, and I don't know anything about these whiskies at all, apart from what I said a second ago. So yeah, we'll get into the first one, and I'll make sure I've got these the right way around. Not that I can tell the difference, but we'll find out in a minute. I'm pretty sure one of them's much higher ABV. The Caduro is 46.8, and the other is 51.5. Well, maybe not that much difference, but oh yeah, I mean, look at that. I don't know if you can see, but there's a definite colour difference between them. So okay, they are definitely the right way round now. Okay, good. So the first one then, this is the Caduro, and I think these are both still in stock, certainly on Master of Malt, as I've seen. Again, links in the description below. And looking on the website, this one came out in 2022, and this one makes it unique because it's a combination of American and French oak, both first fill ex-bourbon and White Peak's signature STR casks. These are the shaved toasted retar casks that are quite popular at the moment, and actually I quite like them. And both of these are lightly peated. Okay, let's see what we've got on the nose then. Okay, first, I mean, literally, this is just first impressions. First impressions are very light on the nose, actually. Not getting any peat at all. Actually, I mean, this is why you should leave your whiskies out on the side for as long as possible. Quite a lot of oak. Now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, I'm getting some brininess, but I've had to really delve in there for that. Sometimes I like to have a taste first and then come back to the nose, so let's do that. Okay. That is not lightly peated. Wow, okay, that is chalk and cheese, nose to palate. Let's go back to the nose then. Okay, a little bit more coming through this now. So, again, I'm getting that peat now. Now that I've tasted it on the palate, it's on the nose now. A little bit of kind of TCP, which I like. Quite a lot of oak. I'm not getting any kind of like of the usual like honeys, vanillas, which is good. You know, it no need to be standard. A waft of lemon, but really, really light. Okay, back to the palate. Okay, now I was expecting it. That's much better. It's yeah, definite peat without a doubt. Peat, TCP, little bit of coastal vibe to it. But for me, it all comes onto the back end. Another quick sip. That's really interesting because it's usually on my tasting notes I would get something like the sweetness up front, the peat up front, and then as that dissipates I would get the peppery spiciness at the back end. This seems to be inverted to me, so it's immediately peppery spiciness with a little bit of fruit that I haven't quite got the time to decipher before it disappears behind the peat, and then that smokiness is coming through, which is really quite lovely. I'm enjoying that a lot. Okay. Now, because of these are off the cuff, I will swill between them, so excuse me. Conscious not to make too many swishing noises for the camera. Next up then, we've got the Alter Ego. Now, this one was a bit different, so referring back to the computer. Limited release, 5,393 bottles, 51.5%. Retails at £65. Was released probably 2023. But the whole point of this one is that they basically had a recipe in place, and then they stopped what they were doing, and then changed what they were doing, and then went from there onwards. And if I'm reading this right, this is either what they chose to do differently then, or what they were doing at the start. I can't quite decipher that quickly while I'm on camera. I'll add an adjustment to that if I'm wrong with that. But this one here is also lightly peated, and it has a mixture of their bourbon and STR casks again. So not as interesting on those, but I'm just making sure I didn't mix them up again. No, I didn't. Terrible behaviour. Okay. Okay, this one's much more inviting on the nose. Not to say the other one was bad, but I wasn't getting a lot from it, is the truth. This one here, I'm getting, it's like butter, almost like pudding, like a vanilla-y, buttery pudding of some kind. Not really a pudding guy, so I haven't got a name for those things. Again, I'm not getting huge vibes off the peat. Maybe a little sea air waft again, but that's me just putting it in my brain, I think. Let's do the same thing again. I'll have a quick sip. Yeah, I've definitely got these the right way around because that's much higher on ABV. Okay. Oh, that's silky. Silky. Okay. Clear out. Let's go back to the nose. Yeah, I'm definitely getting kind of like vanilla-y, custardy vibe off of this. Touch, a whiff of peat, like really like a little wisp of it. And I'm probably convincing myself a little bit more of that kind of like sea air and that lemon grass vibe I was getting off the last one. I'm probably putting that in my head, but that's how these things go. You know, you smell something, you taste something, it hits a memory, you write it down. That's how my tasting notes go anyway. All right, let's go back to the palate proper. Oh, that's a vibe, that is, without a doubt. Obviously, so you've got to work quickly because the ABV comes swanning in, starts to make itself be known halfway through the palate. But like I said earlier, very silky. Those kind of vanilla vibes are coming through, giving it a nice kind of start to it. And this is much more what I expected when I usually drink whiskey. You know, you get that kind of your sweetness first, and then you get the pepperiness, and then the ABV towards the end, maybe. And that's what's happening here, which is lovely. Oof. That's definitely my favourite of the two, which surprises me. Well, does it? Because higher ABV, always a win. Well, okay, maybe not always, but mostly a win for me. And you'd think that the higher peat would be more interesting to me, but ABV is a little bit like fat with the barbecue. You know, the more fat there is, the more taste flavours are going to come through. ABV tends to do that a little bit. Not always. Same with barbecue, not always, but it happens. For me, the Alter Ego wins out for that one. I wasn't sure how much the Caduro was. Caduro. 60 quid, so there's a fiver in it. There's a fiver difference in it. 60 quid, 65 quid. For me, for my money, I'll be hitting that the Alter Ego every time on that one. But I'd be happy enough with both of these really lovely whiskies. Very happy that I got to try them. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed the vibe of this Sample Saturday. Quick overview. I'm not going to go in depth with all information like I normally would, but that's the way these Sample Saturdays go. I wouldn't feel right reviewing a smaller bottle for you guys, like a proper review. So that's why we do these Sample Saturdays. But again, massive thank you to Mark Littler for sending these over to me. I'm going to try my hardest not to kill these before they get to you, my friend. So yeah, hopefully you'll get at least a dribble out of these, but they'll get back to you at some point, I'm sure. But again, go and check out the description for a suite of links that you can go and check out all the different resources that I mentioned today. And of course, if you fancy buying one of these, let me know, because I want to know what you think of them. If you've tried them before, let me know in the comments below and we'll have a little chat about it. But yeah, in any case, that's Sample Saturday done with for this week. I'll see you again for more videos soon, and more Sample Saturdays and more no-nonsense whiskey in general. Cheers. Catch you soon.